So how we'll do this. So we've got uh, res- responses from the survey. We've kind of compiled, noticed several themes throughout those. And so I've got a PowerPoint that we can sort of hit some of the main themes from those survey responses, hopefully address some questions. And then at the end of that, we will open it up to a Q&A from uh, all of the participants here. If you'd like, you can hop off, or well, we'll have you raise your hand, and our moderator will have you unmute when it's your turn. You are also able to put questions in the Q&A chat at the bottom of the Zoom. Those will be anonymous. Is that right, Calissa?
You can submit an anonymous question. It'll give you the option, but you have to use there's going to be a Q&A chat on the bottom versus just the normal chat. So make sure you click the right one, and that's how you can submit an anonymous question.
Perfect. And we'll answer those as they come up as well. We have some people who are going to be in there, so if they're quicker, easier questions, we can just shoot a text response to that, or the bigger questions, we'll give it to whichever of our committee members on the Zoom are the best qualified to answer that. So as we get going here, close if we'll go to the next slide. So our survey was split into three main questions. Questions about SEA programs and activities, questions about the SEA structure as a whole and who belongs to what, and then how we can better serve you as the staff representatives on campus. So the first section of those that I want to focus on is questions about specific SEA programs and activities. Most of the questions that we had coming from that were questions about the scholarship or about our uh, professional development opportunities. Most of those questions can be addressed by or were addressed in the informational session. So to avoid giving the same presentation twice, we do have that informational PowerPoint available to everybody. We'll make sure that gets sent out. And then if you still have questions about those, on screen right now are the names and emails for the committee members for the scholarship committee and for that employee development committee. All four of them are knowledgeable, friendly individuals who are willing to answer your questions if you've got a question about, where do I go to apply for the scholarship, or when is the monthly professional development this month, things like that. Neil, Donetta, Wendy, or Mackenzie can definitely help punch in the right direction for that. So if anybody wants to get that contact info, we'll pause for a minute here to let you copy that down. And if you do have very specific, questions about how those things work in this session, definitely feel free to ask those in the Q&A. We won't, tell you no, you can't. You have to ask those people. Um, but I do think that they will be well equipped to answer any questions. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide, Calista. Okay. The second, thank you. The second question on that survey was about who the SEA is and what our role is. So a lot of the questions that we had that we are going to be able to address here were about the role of the USU Eastern chapter. So USU Eastern operates as a separate entity for their staff employee association. They have their own budget for activities and they run their own elections for the representatives on their committee. Where they do operate separately, we have, I believe, our USU Eastern president, Eric Kerwin, is on the Zoom here. So I'll give him a few minutes to sort of address who is a member of the Eastern chapter and what it is they do, how they operate. So take it away, Eric.
Thanks, Benjamin. Yeah, so the Eastern chapter, while the Logan chapter focuses on more of a broad scope, here at the Eastern chapter, we focus on Eastern employees, the concerns, needs that are here in Eastern. There are also statewide SEA members that represent almost every statewide campus as well. So here at the Eastern, we, of course, advocate for the employee concerns that are here on the Eastern campus in Price, the workplace needs. Um, we try to help provide opportunities for professional development, recognition, activities, and things like that. And we kind of serve as a direct link to to, of course, the Logan SEA, and then the leadership as well. So on our council is, of course, a senior representative, which is myself. We have a junior representative, Jess Brinker-Hoff. He's the AD. And then a past representative was Talon Jennings. Within our committee, we have a health and wellness committee. So they do activities throughout the month to challenge us to get out and live well and be healthy. We have campus and community enrichment. That's a little new, just this last year, but they help us engage with new employees. So the new employees come in and we try to welcome them, let them know about SEA, try to give them a little bit of swag and things for USU and help them feel welcome and appreciated and know again about SEA and what we can do for them. We have a recognition and elections committee. So of course they run the elections, but they also do recognition of employees on the Eastern campus. So on the Eastern campus, we have, I think, 200, 250 employees full-time, and then lots of permanent part-time staff as well. So there's a lot of employees on this campus. And so anyway, there's nominations every month of who the employee of the month is and different initiatives like that from that committee. Staff development committee, they mainly focus on our staff development on this campus. We invite others to join us, but we do our own little staff development conference here, and it's really, really great. So they're working on that. And then we have a social committee where they do the activities throughout the year, like the Thanksgiving one and Christmas and things like that. So does that help, Benjamin? You want me to go into the names of who's over those committees? Does that matter much, or what do you think?
I think as an overview, that's awesome. Thank you, Eric. If people on the call are Eastern employees and you have questions in the Q&A section, Eric is here and he can definitely get you some more details on that. The one thing that I do think that where we overlap between the main section of SEA and the Eastern chapter is that our professional development conference that we put on in the spring, the Staff Elevated Conference, that is something that all employees are welcome to attend, to tune into virtually. That's something that, if you're at Eastern and you think, oh, well, Eastern has its own conference, so, we aren't part of the other one. You're definitely welcome to attend both. You can participate in both of them. We would love to have you. So that's one thing where they overlap, but in most other things, Eastern does take care of the activities. Like Eric said, they have the activities committee, they have the recognition committee that plans things for people at USU Eastern Campus and Price. So that means that anyone who's statewide or extension outside of the Eastern Campus, you fall under the main section of the SEA. So all of the activities that we try to plan, the professional developments that we put on, the gratitude gathering events and around Thanksgiving time, we are the representatives for that for you. So if anybody has more specific questions, again, feel free to chime in the Q&A section. The other main theme that came up in the who are the SEA and what can we do section was people asking for clarification on how exactly the SEA can represent staff to upper admin. A lot of people asked about sort of how we compare to Faculty Senate. Faculty Senate is a formal authorized entity on campus. They have their elections and they have a little bit more actual authority on campus than the SEA does. We serve more of an advisory role. We are able to express the needs and concerns of staff to upper admin when we have these meetings with them. But it does function a little bit differently than Faculty Senate. Personally, I have had meetings with several of the new members of upper administration recently, and they've come to me and they've asked, what is the staff climate around campus? What are the concerns? And I've been able to express to them the things that we've been hearing from staff. And I know that they've taken those things to their meetings with the president. Some of the things specifically that I was able to express to the new chief of staff, I saw mirrored in the President Mortensen's messaging during his town hall meeting. So we know that these concerns are getting up there, which is what we hope for. Another thing that we do as the SEA is we try to have regular meetings with deans and vice presidents around campus, which is something that our vice presidents, Kyle Cottom and Arden Nichols do. So I'm going to turn a little time over to Kyle right now to talk a little bit about how that works and what those meetings are about.
Absolutely. Thanks, Benjamin. We honestly just got out of a meeting with Devin Weiser, who's the VP for Government Relations for the university, kind of picking his brain to see what kind of advocacy is happening at that government level. I thought that meeting went really, really positive. If there are concerns and things that y'all want brought up to administration when we are doing these meetings, please feel free to email, and we can pass those along and report back. We have meetings in the works with the Dean of QA&R, so the Ag and Natural Resource on campus. Also hoping to line up one with Arts and Sciences. So again, in the works, those will probably happen after the new year, as we continue to advocate to attend the SEA conference in the spring. Had great success last year when visiting with the Dean of the Business School on campus. They were willing to sponsor an ice cream social during that SEA conference, and it was great inroads, and to have, again, support on really the faculty side to trickle down to that staff side. So again, we have more meetings scheduled. We can do things via Zoom. So again, if there's specific individuals y'all would like us to meet with, please reach out, let us know, and we'll pass those through the proper channels and chat with them. But again, like Benjamin said, if you guys have any questions of the vice presidents, please, drop it in that SEA Q&A, and I've got it open right now. I can help answer questions, or we'll see comments as they come.
Perfect. Thank you, Kyle. Calista, we can go ahead into the next slide. Thank you. So the last question that we had was how the SEA can better serve you specifically, sent to those who work at statewide and extension sites. Again, I found three main sort of trends in the responses. That you asked for events that are more accessible to employees across the state. You asked for more targeted communication when events are location specific, and you asked for better understanding and representation for statewide employees, what your needs are, what your reality is. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. The middle bullet point there about more targeted communication for location specific events. We have a member. Sid, were you going to take that one as a member of our communications committee?
I think that was
Oh, I
Calista.
actually can take that. Sorry.
Melissa, if you want to
That was
speak to
me.
that for a minute here, that
Um,
would be awesome.
I apologize. I tried to unmute and it moved the slide, and so I was fixing it.
That's okay.
Um, so how we're dealing with that is, or how we want to make sure that we're giving more targeted communication to statewide over just Logan staff. So we're kind of reformatting our newsletter a little bit. We want to make sure that it's either we're going to have a targeted section in our newsletter that makes sure it's like this is specifically for statewide staff, or making sure that it's clear that this is an event that is virtual that statewide staff can join and participate in. Just making sure that's more clear, and also making sure too that we are having enough content for statewide as well. We don't ever want to make statewide feel like it's like, oh, and here's statewide, here's your things. Like, make sure that it's it's designed in a way that makes everyone feel like there's important information relevant to them in that newsletter. We're also kind of building out our My USU group for SEA. And in that, we're going to make sure that we already have all of our SEA events in the calendar, but we're looking into potentially doing some more targeted content for statewide employees, and just making sure that's also organized in a way that makes it clear what resources are available for statewide so there's not any confusion. Same with our website. So That's all very broad stroke, not super specific things, but just know that we're working on that and we're adjusting those details on all our different channels to make sure that that need is met.
Great. Thank you, Calissa. Yeah, so that is something that has been on our minds of the FDA board for a while now. And so we are taking these steps. Um, we do want to hear from you as we make these changes, as things continue to adjust to help make sure that we're communicating the correct things to the correct people. So keep giving that feedback, let us know when you have thoughts or concerns about these things, and we can hopefully get that more streamlined and a better communication system that really serves all of our statewide people. Now to move forward back to the top bullet point, um, in terms of holding events that are more accessible to employees across the state. That has been something that we've been working on. We have a group that we meet with regularly, myself and our statewide representative, Taylor Mountford, who's on the call here, and then representatives from several of the campuses and areas across the state. Um, and that group has actually was the impetus for this uh, information and Q&A session is we want to be able to have these events that are accessible to employees across the state, but it's hard where many of us work up in Logan. We're not sure how the logistics of that works. So we want to make sure that we hear from you all in terms of what does work, what doesn't work, what ideas you have of what kind of events would work for you. So we want you all to know that that is very much an open-ended question, and we want to hear from you, and then we try to implement these things from you. So know that that is something that you can play a crucial part in the success and the moving forward of those events across the state. And please chime in the Q&A with any of those thoughts or ideas once we reach that point. And really that goes along with the third point too, is, you know, the only way for us to understand and be able to represent all of you is to hear from you and to hear what those concerns are. And so Uh, with that, I think we will move to that last slide. Unless Taylor, do you have anything that you would like to add to that discussion there before we move to the Q&A?
I would just like to maybe thank a couple of people who have, been really active and involved at their campuses and at their extension offices. Um, I recently received a contact list that Tammy Firth compiled for me, of all of the sort of points of contact for SEA at various extension offices around the state. Um, and I sent an email out about our gratitude gathering in November. If anybody received that email and has questions or, has, any input to give about being involved in SEA, especially in extension, I would love to hear from you. And I would also like to thank and just reiterate the points of contact at statewide campuses. It's mostly DOSS's, Directors of Student Services at various campuses. There's also some staff assistants and various other positions that are on this SEA and statewide coordination sort of meeting. And I just appreciate so much all of the cooperation and just getting to know various campuses. But I also just want to invite any emails, contact, phone, call me on the phone, whatever. If you have ideas, questions, concerns about statewide and extension participation in SEA. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Taylor. That reminded me, that group of directors of student services and staff assistants, they are also playing a role in what Calista mentioned, where we're trying to expand our calendar events to include the events that are happening around statewide to help publicize those more. Those members of that committee, that group, are the ones where we're getting that information from. So we're very grateful to them. They're playing a crucial part in helping to expand the representation and the ability of SEA to truly serve the land grant statewide university system. So can't thank them enough. But with that, I think we are going to open it up for the Q&A. So just to reiterate, if you would like to ask your question aloud on the Zoom, go ahead and raise your hand down at the bottom there. That is in, oh, is there not an option to raise hand in the webinar? Uh, can anyone see I'm not seeing the raise hand option.
I'm not seeing
Well,
motion either, but you can let us know in the chat you have a question.
yeah,
That's what you can
yeah.
do.
So go ahead and,
Benjamin, I think it's
oh,
there in
perfect.
that React.
Oh,
Yeah, you can in
awesome.
React.
Thank you to those in chat who are letting us know. So go ahead and raise your hand and our moderator, Calissa, will call on you, or you can type your question in the chat or in the Q&A if you'd like the question to be anonymous. But we will give it over to you all.
Jessica Prettyman, go ahead.
Hi. I'm a business manager on the Price campus, and I just want to say thank you guys for recognizing the statewide and the extension team and the uniqueness that we have off of the Logan campus. And then just ask that you, as you continue to have these conversations, think about how we can incorporate statewide more often. In several conversations, it's just like, oh, I forgot because I used to serve with SEA and used to work really closely with the president and stuff. And there was moments where the other people were like, oh, I forgot about you guys. I'm so sorry about that. So just being conscious of it and making a more concentrated effort. I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us and keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, I'm very happy that we have Taylor and we have, let's see, our other member.
Shanda Thompson is our junior as statewide and extension committee member.
So she's not on the call right now, is she? But
No, she
Taylor
had a high school visit, but
Mhm.
she's based at the Moab campus.
and they both do a great job of being that extra voice in the room and making sure that the whole university is represented in these conversations. So, thank you, Jessica.
Benjamin, I'm going to jump in here and spill some beans. In our conversation with Devin earlier, and again, this is very early stages planning, a tentative budget from the governor was released, and there was, I'm going to look at my notes for, 2.6% for performance increases, salary stuff. So that COLA money that is allocated by the governor each year. Tentatively, it is at 2.6%. So it's good to still see some growth and money potentially coming our way. So that's something that came out of our meeting with Devin. And again, super unofficial because it was just numbers on a piece of paper that hasn't been approved yet. But that's the initial number that may be going through the legislative session. We'll see what happens once the legislative session finishes. But it's nice that we still have that advocacy and people fighting for us, even at the governor's level.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. That's a bonus for everyone who wanted to attend our session today. You get a little behind the scenes knowledge, before all your coworkers. You can hold it over them. As we wait and see if other people are formulating questions here, one thing I do want to do, where we did have a lot of questions about the scholarship and about the professional development, we do have a member of each of those committees on here, Neil and then Mackenzie. If you two each want to take maybe just a minute to give just a brief recap of the scholarship and those professional developments, to hopefully address any of those quick questions that people may have had. Neil, if you want to go first.
Yeah, sure. Uh, we uh, we just get applications. Our application portals on our website. You just click on the scholarship page, and that's where you can find the professional development application and the scholarship application, and it has all there. And if you have any question, just send me an email and I can answer it to you.
Okay. With the professional development committee, we really just try to do things that you guys are interested in as well. And we have quite the long list, so we're still working through it. But as of right now, we are trying to do one workshop a month. It's usually the third Wednesday. We've had to adjust it a little bit just with holidays and stuff, but we're going to try to set a more sure schedule of that and have it be Zoom so that everyone can join. And we've just been finding people to present on these different topics. So a lot of it's professors at USU or other people who are professionals in these fields. We have a lot of great topics to come with that. And if you guys ever have any questions or recommendations, we're happy to take those as well. If there's something specific that you would like to present on, we can look things over and go over that. But really, we're just wanting to help people. I think our biggest thing that we're trying to do is just help people learn and develop in their personal life and professional life, because when those are going well, that influences the other one as well, you know? And so we're really just trying to help with that. And we're actually working with HR too. We've had Leslie Buxton reach out to us, and we're working with her just to collaborate with them as well on this professional development stuff. And yeah, we're trying to do more, and there might be some fun things to come. But yeah, please feel free to reach out with any ideas or anything you would like to learn more about.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil and Mackenzie.
I can also show our website as well. Just what Neil was talking about of Oh, if it will go. Come on. There we go. I'll just get to stare at my Google. Okay. Just kind of a sneak peek. Here's our website. The scholarships that Neil was talking about is here, and you just hit apply, and it'll take you to that portal, and that information will give you lots of different info on what you need to submit those applications. You can also come in here and learn about SEA, kind of see our organization, our bylaws, chapter, get to know everyone who's on SEA. We also have all of our professional development recordings. Let's just go straight to our YouTube channel where you guys can watch all of those past webinars. We also have our events, which just go straight to our My USU. And this is where, this is pretty up to date. This is where all of our upcoming workshops are, also like our networking lunches, things like that. So this will have all of the events, both Logan and statewide. So this is a good resource to see what events are happening and what's going on with SEA. We also have some other things that kind of repeat what's on our website, but you can also find in here we've got resources to see recordings. There's also tools and things like that. So if you want to learn more about SEA, come in here and take a look around also, and then definitely take, oh, wrong tab, sorry. Um, and take a look at our website as well. That's kind of the rundown of our website. Anything else that you want to add, Ben?
Will you also show where they can go to nominate people for Employee of the Month recognition?
Yes, that is here. So if you go under recognition, recognize an employee, you do it here, and then you nominate a candidate, and that is a way to do that. You can also access that through our My USU group as well, if you're in there. Uh, but yeah, anyone else here that has any other specific parts of the website they wanted to highlight or look at?
So I just have a follow-up question on your MyUSU stuff for those events. Would it be possible for you to put Zoom capable or something like that in the title for the statewide people to know very easy if they could just jump on a Zoom one real fast during those times or something?
Yeah, that's a great idea. When you go into, in fact, here I'll go to it. I think this is a great idea to put in the title, and we can definitely start doing something like that, or at least just straight up do that. You also, if you come into the events, it'll give you information there as well. But
Okay.
I think that's a great thought of making it more obvious in the title what's what.
Thank you.
So,
Hey, Calista, the only thing that I would say show on the website is the conference in the spring. We're accepting calls for presenters. That's open and available until February 15th. The conference will be May 19th through the 21st.
Yep.
And then there's that link for presentations.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Will you also navigate over to the Eastern site now, and we can show the Eastern staff? Because the Eastern chapter has its own separate website as well. Here they've got the same sort of meet your representatives page where it shows the different members of the committees, the place. Yes, so these are all the elected officials there. They have their own staff recognition tab, as Eric mentioned. Eastern also does their employee of the quarter, I believe, recognitions, and then their staff development and their chapter procedures as well. So for those at Eastern, this is the site where you'll access a lot of those same resources.
Um, I think that is everything on the website. Is there any questions or anything else you guys wanted to see as far as our resources go online? Looks like there was a question. We had the question, is there a place that shows information for half tuition for employees, family, and family members? I believe so. Let's see. I don't think it's under scholarships, but I think there is. Do you know, Ben, if we have information about the scholarship on our website?
So the half tuition waiver
Mhm.
for employee family members, at least on the Logan campus, I'm not sure. I know the Eastern does a similar thing. On our Logan campus, that's something that HR manages. So the HR resources tab, I believe, takes us to the HR site. And on there, Mackenzie has sent the direct link to that
Oh,
tuition reduction page in the chat. But yeah, that is something that HR manages on the back end in terms of the tuition remission for family members and employees.
okay.
There's a
Jessica
question
asks,
about putting it as a reference on the website, maybe? Like it could be a potential drop down that could be added.
I just asked because I work with scholarships and stuff like that all the time, and faculty and staff ask me all the time, where do I find this for my dependent? Where do I find this for my dependent? I've gotten to the point, it's just a quick search in ServiceNow for me, but if we could have it as a staff reference for people to access easily too, that's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica, and thank you, Shauna, for the question. I think that would be a good thing that we can add, um, potentially under the scholarship link, where it does sort of fall hand in hand with seeing that as a scholarship. That's something that we can explore doing a redesign on.
I will say we now have access to some more tech resources to get our website built out. So we're actually looking to somewhat heavily overhaul our website. So if you have any ideas about stuff you'd want to see that hasn't already been shared, feel free to like drop in the chat or send us an email to let us know what kind of content you would like to be able to quickly access and learn about through our website or through our MyUSU group if you look there as well. Oh, thanks, Mackenzie Scott. Okay. Any other questions with the website? If not, I can go back to the slide if you would like, Ben. Okay.
I think we can go back to the slide. Thank you, Calissa.
You bet.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot.
People, just a little bit longer here. And I will say, if there's questions that you feel like didn't get responded to directly, please feel free to reach out to any of us. Like I said, questions on scholarships or professional development, you have the contact info there. You have the contact info for uh, Calissa for website questions. And you can go onto our website to find anybody with their committee to reach out to. Uh, Always, you can email me and I can help you get connected to whoever it is who can best answer your question. Or if I'm scary and you don't feel like you want to email me, Kyle is a great resource as the vice president. Tim Olson is our president-elect this year. He's on the call. He's a softie, he's a nice guy. But we're always willing to answer questions and get you connected to resources. We don't have any other questions though. Give one last call here. Quick, raise your hand if you have one. But if not, just want to thank everybody for coming. And again, hopefully you've been able to learn something and get answers to questions that you've had. And you have contact info. Please don't hesitate to reach out with feedback, especially those of you at Statewide. Like we've said a couple times, we really do want to try to learn what it is that's going to work best for the land grant statewide system of a university that we all work at. So with that, again, we'll thank everybody for attending and I hope you have a great rest of your day.